Now let me ask you a question. How is your sex life? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, if you're like me and countless women around the world, low sex drive is an unwelcomed intruder in my life. If you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Women who have experienced low libido know that it can be distressing and extremely debilitating to any relationship. This can hurt intimacy levels with both yourself and your partner. Women of all ages must start talking about low sex drive and how it affects their lives. Most women struggle with low libido on their own, with little knowledge of the support they could be provided and how this could be resolved. So, with that being said, what is the prevalence of low libido among women? What are the root causes of low libido? And what could be a solution for women of all ages?
So in a 2010 study that was published in the Journal of the British Association for Urological Surgeons, this study was done in New Jersey, and it was with 587 women, and it was from the ages of 18 to 95. 47% of those women had lack of desire. 45% of those women had orgasm issues. 40% of those women had lack of arousal. And then 36% of those women had pain issues with regards to sex. I do want to say something, too, that desire was the highest in all of these age groups, except for the 18 to 31-year-olds, which orgasm issues came in first, followed by desire issues at a close 36%, okay? Now, with that being said, it's also important to mention that upwards of 30% of women of all ages have never had an orgasm.
Already, you see that the prevalence of low libido in women is much higher than one would expect. A study from the Journal of the American Medical Association studied this prevalence as well. The study found that about 27% of premenopausal women experience low libido, and 52% of menopausal women experience low libido as well. This particular study focused on women of ages 30 and higher. According to an article from Mayo Clinic, there are a number of factors that can result in a woman's low libido. These include, but are not limited to, physical limitations, medications, especially antidepressants, drinking and smoking, fatigue, menopause, pregnancy and breastfeeding, anxiety, depression, poor body image, low self-esteem, history of sexual abuse, lack of partner connection, lack of communication for sexual needs between partners, and trust issues. As you can see, there is no shortage of components that can play into a woman's libido.
You know that estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are not going to give you a juicy sex life if you never had one before. We need to get to the root cause. And in this case, I'm listening for clues to her missing libido in the story of her body, her microbiome, as we just heard before, in her emotions, in her libido story, in her beliefs about herself and the world that she lives in. In other words, we have to patch the hole in the bottom of the boat. Now, why do I know this? Because this is my own story.
Clearly, there are a ton of things within our society that can negatively impact low libido. One particularly significant cause of low libido around the world is the use of antidepressants in women. This goes for men as well, but women is our focus. According to a New York Times article, 15.5 million Americans have been on antidepressant medications for at least 5 years.
We know because antidepressants really change the balance of neurotransmitters, that in and of itself impacts sexual function. And what we typically see is low sexual arousal or difficulty with sexual arousal, difficulty or low sexual desire, and then difficulty achieving orgasm. So desire, arousal, orgasm, those are the three main things that antidepressants can impact.
Another study from the Globe and Mail Journal, a Canadian journal, looked at the side effects of the top 10 used antidepressants. The study concluded that 37% of those researched experienced sexual dysfunction due to the medication. Low libido is one of the most common side effects of antidepressant medication in women. Antidepressants is just one of the significant components playing a role in women's low libido. But let's dial our focus into body image, yet another significant factor playing a role here. The society we live in is always sending messages to women around the world what the quote-unquote ideal body image is. So what is that message? What is this quote-unquote ideal body image? Well, typically the message received is that we have to be a size 0, maybe a size 2, 5'8", have fair and poreless skin, have thick, long hair, perfectly white and straight teeth, and oh, the list goes on.